Look, they give you the card that says Galaxy Pots or Galactic Capsules. This is my number one. This is your flame, you put it here, and the lock deactivates and opens your capsule. You get in and use this same key. Here.
These are the galactic capsules that will replace the beds and rooms we sleep in the future. How far away is that? Well, it depends on your country and economic status as always. It also depends on how fast the population grows and we run out of space. If you don't believe there's overpopulation or global warming, then you have nothing to worry about. These are just fantasies, and the size and temperature of your room will stay the same, centuries future ahead. But just in case, let me explain. These capsules are meant to provide shelter for human beings on planet Earth that were very cramped, or space is very expensive, or because we've already moved to another planet. When this happens, these replicate the optimal conditions of planet Earth while they are being tested in hotels like this one. In countries where these problems already exist, lack of space and the fact that it's very expensive. The advertisement for this hotel where I stayed said exactly this: save money by staying in our Galactic Capsule Hotel.
This button is for self-destruction. Don't touch it because everything will explode. This button is to go to another planet. Like the Saiyans, these are like the forces of the Great Freezer, so here they decide which planet they're going to send you to. Raditz must have been sent with one of these. Why did I want to show you this capsule? Well, it's very simple. This type of hotel is going to be much more common in the future. In fact, there are some cities where this will be your only option if you don't live there. This is because of over-tourism that's happening all over the planet. Let me explain.
I explained it in this video.
More and more cities are receiving millions of people and they can't accommodate them. And this makes it very expensive for the locals. To fix this, are they limiting the number of available rooms or the amount of space allocated for tourist accommodations? A government sets a limit. You can only develop 300 square meters of hotels, and in that space they're going to put as many rooms as possible. And that's why this happens. Places like Bora, Venice, Bali, and Amsterdam won't have any other option to accommodate tourists except for these. If you want to visit these cities, if you don't have a friend who lives there, then this is going to be your only option. So if you're someone who travels, or you aspire to travel, or you have plans to go to a city somewhere in Europe that you've always wanted to go to, or wherever it is, even if you're not a traveler. If you plan to visit at least one country or a tourist city in your life, it's possible you'll come across one of these. And the longer you wait, that possibility increases.
Because of the magic power and beauty of money, there will always be regular rooms, in quotes, in a normal hotel where you can go to the front desk, ask for your room, and that's it. But they're going to be much more expensive. Exclusivity not just because of the price, but also because of the reservation. There will be so few that you'll have to book months, if not years in advance. This isn't the end of tourism, no, but it is the end of spontaneous tourism, where you could find a big room by booking that same night.
Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out. Subscribe and hit the bell.
They're not so cheap, let's say, here in Singapore, a country, city, or micronation or island country with very little space. They cost me $100 per night. The average room costs about $160 per night. So yes, the price is lower, but I'm not really saving a ton of money, let's say.
Well, for spending the night, it's comfortable. Just to come and sleep and take a shower, it's excellent. Does it cover those needs for you? Because remember that Singapore is a country, it's a city, and for a city it's big, but for a country it's very small. And they don't have space anymore, they don't have land anymore. To build their latest infrastructures, they had to build in the ocean, which is called land reclamation. When you put sand on the bottom of the sea and pile it up until subscribe. Keep in mind that Singapore is one of the most expensive cities in the world, one of the most expensive in Asia. Definitely here you have your crazy Now, leaving travel aside, if you say, I'm not a traveler, I'm not interested in traveling, I have a job, I'm not wasting time, spending money foolishly, I live in my country, in my city. Well, more and more people are being gentrified out of their cities. So it's also possible that capsules like this could be the only housing or sleeping option, at least temporarily, for more and more people in the city. Subscribe. Or did they grow up? This example, the closest one I can give you is Mexico City, where we saw that areas like Condesa, Polanco, and Roma are so gentrified that the people who were born and raised there can no longer afford to live there. So it's very possible, likely even, that city centers in Latin America will start to have hotels like these. That's the first step, and the second step is student dormitories like these. And the last step, when you know it's already happened, is when permanent housing for people who were born there looks like this. And even if it's not gentrified, let's say, it is true that sea levels are rising. If you believe in that, also if you believe in global warming, that Earth's temperatures are rising, which means there are fewer and fewer places suitable for human habitation, which are like hell, very hot, and you have to move somewhere else. The cool areas of the world are going to be fewer and fewer and fewer. The world population is expected to peak at around 14 or 15 billion, and it will start to decrease, but hypothetically, if it doesn't start to decrease and keeps rising and we reach 50 or 60 billion, then this will be the only option, or at least not the only option, but the most likely, the most feasible, the cheapest, the one that fits most people's budgets. Well, now let's look at another aspect. Let's say I don't want to move from my city even if it's very hot. For example, I have friends in Mexicali, and when I talk to them, they send me the temperature and I say, wow. And the only option to live in those places is your air conditioning, but air conditioning costs money. So even inside the houses, it's going to be common for this to be your bedroom because it's much cheaper to cool it, to air condition it. That way, you don't have to waste money giving fresh air conditioning to your whole house, just this bedroom. Here, it's going to cost you about a 2 or 3% in electricity compared to what it would cost you to cool your whole house. And you only turn this on when you're going to sleep. And that way, even if you're hot all day, here you sleep cool and you get a good rest. And now, the last question, which is about the theme of this hotel. Galactic capsules. Well, if one day humans become an interplanetary species, meaning we're not limited to planet Earth, but we live on more planets, not just in our solar system. I think that for humans to become a well-established interplanetary species, we have to look beyond our solar system, Mars. That's very, very impossible. We would have to look for other places very similar to planet Earth. These are called exoplanets.
Exoplanets are any planet that orbits a star other than our Sun in our solar system and that has a similar atmosphere and temperature. In short, planets that resemble Earth and that we could theoretically move to, about 5,800 of these planets have been identified in the Milky Way.
Being on those exoplanets, we don't know what creatures are out there, what diseases or storms, or the rises and falls in temperature. That's why we'll have to live in capsules like these, and you might be thinking, oh, those people are crazy, who's going to want to live on another planet in a capsule? But that's how people lived. For example, the people who came from Europe to America, they were on a very small ship. The people who arrived on rafts to the Polynesian islands came on very small rafts, and they were confined to a space, encapsulated, in order to discover new habitable lands they didn't know about. And could this be the future of humanity? Capsules. And that's how the science arrived on Earth, so basically the science. We could be humans in about 3,000 years in the future.